Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It feels so good to be back on YouTube. I had an awesome vacation and I'm excited to just pump out content for you guys again come September. I hope I'm in focus. Today we are talking all about digestive issues. So if you have stomach distension, if you have extreme pain in the morning when you wake up and haven't even eaten yet, if you feel like your stomach is in knots, if you have gas and bloating, if you have any sort of heartburn, gurgling, anything to do with digestion, I'm going to share with you a few tips that might really help and kind of explain a little bit about the root cause or underlying cause of these issues. So typically, the root cause of most digestive issues are a few things. Number one, I'm gonna say for 99% of people, it's underactive stomach or insufficient gastric juice production. So you're eating a meal, your stomach is not secreting enough of the gastric juice or hydrochloric acid to break down that food, and therefore the food is sitting in you for two to three times longer than it normally should. So if food leaves your stomach in about 6 hours, it might be sitting in your stomach for 12 or 18 hours or something crazy like that. So that's the first thing, is usually insufficient gastric juice. The second thing is bacterial overgrowth. If you don't have enough stomach acid whenever you're eating in your stomach to be breaking down food and killing bacteria, bacteria is able to thrive in the stomach and it burrows into the stomach lining. It can cause ulcerations, or it doesn't even have to cause ulcerations, but it can be present in your stomach and therefore make you bloat the second that you eat. I've seen people and I've had clients who will eat, say, an apple or one bite of a celery, and no word of a lie, 2 minutes later their stomach is out to here. And obviously it hasn't left the stomach, so it's not even considered SIBO. You can't say it's from the small intestine. It's in the stomach. It's the bacteria in the stomach that are instantly feeding off of this food and causing that bloating and that stomach distension. So I want to say like an underactive stomach is pretty much the root cause for most stomach issues. That being said, if you do have things like ulcerations and all of that, even though it is because you have an underactive stomach, you don't want to be consuming hydrochloric acid because that could just irritate it further at that point. But most of the conditions that you see with the stomach are to do with an underactive stomach. So underactive stomach, bacterial overgrowth or imbalance within the stomach and digestive system is the second cause. The third one is poor liver and pancreatic and gallbladder function. So over time, as your body becomes very toxic and these channels or pathways in the body, like the liver and pancreas and gallbladder or bile duct, if they become blocked or clogged from toxins, from bad food, from stress, from candida, etc., they are no longer able to secrete the enzymes in the quantity that we want to help break down our food. So your liver is not secreting enough enzymes, or your pancreas is not secreting enough enzymes, or your gallbladder not enough bile, and now you're eating your meal and it's not breaking down efficiently. So you'll end up with undigested food in your stool, or you'll end up with diarrhea or constipation or a bit of both, or major cramping or colitis or Crohn's or mucus in stool. All of this is to do with not enough enzymes, so your stomach and colon is straining so hard to break down food, and also then the bacteria that is now present is feeding off of this food that is sitting in your colon for way too long, causing more inflammation. This is where that mucus lining starts to slough off and appear in your stool, particularly if you have Crohn's or things like that. So those are my three main causes. Just to, again, recap, is an underactive stomach, bacterial overgrowth in the stomach or in any part of the digestive system, and poor liver, pancreatic, and gallbladder function, so not enough enzyme secretion. There are more or deeper root causes as well, typically like major allergic reactions, but they all viruses, things like that, but they all kind of stem from these three. So this is pretty much where I would recommend you start if you're trying to really improve your digestive system. I want to touch quickly on a lot of pain and bloating, especially when you haven't eaten a meal. I have a lot of clients who say that, you know, their last meal is at 7 p.m., they go to bed, they wake up in the morning with excruciating pain. And there's a few things that I want to touch on before we get into supplements. The first thing is your digestive tract is probably not done digesting yet. So you can eat, say, at 6 or 7 p.m. and say, oh, I have an empty stomach in the morning, you know, or there's no food in my digestive tract, why am I in pain? And for me, the reason is just there is food in your stomach, you're just not digesting it well. So it's sitting in your stomach or your colon for way too long. And by the morning, the bacteria has really, or parasites have really had a good chance to kind of feed off of this food, causing bloating, gas, and pain. The second thing is physical parasite movement. Parasites are most active at night, especially if you're not having any food in your digestive system. They're moving around quite a bit and traveling to different parts, and this is causing gas bubbles to form within the colon, in my opinion. And when you're waking up in the morning, you're feeling this pain, and it's because of all the movement that has been happening at night. The other thing that I believe is an issue is a lot of people might sleep on their stomach, and when you have really bad digestive health, parasites, candida, you have food in your stomach at night, you don't want to be putting pressure on your digestive tract, so you want to be sleeping on your back, or even your side is okay. Your left side. So if you are a tummy sleeper, you might be putting too much pressure, and your stomach is not, or your colon is not able to really digest well, and again, you're going to end up with pain in the morning. There are a lot more other reasons, like a lot of bacteria within the actual stomach, and if there's an empty stomach, it means there's no food, so bacteria is kind of irritating that gut lining, causing really bad pains, like a twisting kind of pain, or really painful kind of spasms. So if that's the case, when you eat, that pain should kind of go away. But that's typically, there's a lot of issues, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. When you have digestive issues that are that severe, you always want to make sure at some point, aside from soothing the digestive tract, you really got to flood it with good bacteria. When you start off life and you have a ton of good bacteria, you have a good healthy colon, you don't have these types of pains. But the reason why you start to get pains and all sorts of digestive issues and ulcerations and diarrhea and things like that is because there's no good bacteria to protect the lining within the stomach, but also within the colon. There's not enough mucus because your food is taking so long to digest, it's causing inflammation. Mucus lining is being sloughed off. There's not enough enzymes, so food's sitting in you too long. So there's a lot of factors, but those are just some of the main ones. I'm going to share with you really quick some supplements that I think are amazing. These are not going to directly address the root cause. You want to clear candida, you want to work on the liver and colon drainage and things like that. But in the meantime, here's a few things that will really, really help. And the first one is hydrochloric acid. So this is something, there you go. This is a supplement from Natural Factors. Most people would be okay on it. However, if you do have ulcers or for some reason you do have an overactive stomach, you don't want to be on it. But for most people, especially if there's instant bloating after meals or major pain when you wake up and things like that, you want to try to do hydrochloric acid. If you have undigested food in your stool, you also want to be doing this to make sure you're breaking down that food really well. So hydrochloric acid is what your stomach should be producing but is not producing enough of. So this is just a temporary thing. It's not going to be the rest of your life. You don't want to supplement the rest of your life because you want your body to be doing it for you. So this is just temporary until you're addressing the root cause. But you typically, if I have a big meal or I eat out, I will do 3 capsules after my meal. You can go 4 capsules. Some people do 7. So it really depends on your colon. Just go slow, do 1 at a time, and every meal you can add 1 more to kind of find what works for you. If you do take it, you get heartburn or any sort of like pain within the throat, then just eat some food or drink a little bit of water or aloe vera gel, because the amount that you've taken might have just been too much for you. And eating food will realkalize the stomach and it should be fine. But for most people, you're okay to take, and it's incredible. I hate to get into this topic because I know a lot of people don't like it, but it's incredible what it does to your stool. It makes you have full, healthy stools with no undigested food in it, and that's a good sign. When you have good, healthy bowel movements without undigested food and not too much mucus and things like that in there, it means that your stomach did not have to strain and your colon didn't have to strain as much to push the stool out. And that's what we want. We want our digestive system to be efficient. So hydrochloric acid is one of my favorites. I have bottles on hand. I can never have enough because I don't do it every day now. I don't need to, but if I eat out, if I have a big meal, if I eat too quickly, anything like that, I take it. The second thing is something that I made. So this is ginger juice. The recipe is on my blog. I will leave it in the description box below. This is a juicer-free $2.99 ginger shot with other good ingredients in it to help with digestion. You don't need a juicer to make this, so it's super simple, so affordable. The recipe is on my Instagram, but in here is ginger, black pepper, turmeric, and apple cider vinegar. So you just do a shot of this. I would say do it before a meal or after a meal, or even on an empty stomach. And what this is going to do is, ginger specifically is amazing because it stimulates your stomach, and the apple cider vinegar as well stimulates your stomach to secrete gastric juice whenever you're eating. But it also stimulates your liver and pancreas to secrete enzymes as well. So you're getting the hydrochloric acid production plus enzyme production. This is going to make sure you're digesting your food well and limit the bloating and the constipation and the pains that you would have after a meal. It's absolutely incredible. It does other things as well. Not only does it support liver detoxification, but it works on the cardiovascular system and all that as well. But I'm just sharing it mainly for digestion. When I have any sort of pains, cramps, I felt like I ate the wrong foods or overindulged, I do a good shot of this, and it's amazing what it does for digestion. Because it's so spicy as well, like I said, it does improve circulation, so it gets blood flowing to the colon when you're eating, and that also makes sure that you're digesting your food well. So I do recommend doing that. This whole bottle for organic will cost you around $2.99 depending where you live, and it can last you a week or more. For us, I made this yesterday. We're already halfway through because I give it to my husband and my kids as well. But it can last you a while, so it's very affordable, and I always recommend having a bottle on hand. The very last thing I want to show you is a bitter. So this is black walnut. See if I can get it to focus. This is black walnut from Genestra. I'm showing this one because it's the only bitter thing I do have on hand right now. I'm sold out of most of my bitters, my digestive bitters, so I'm sharing this one with you. This is an anti-parasitic, but if you can, I actually recommend not using this specific one, but actually going for a bottle of mixed bitters. So there'll be things like dandelion and maybe a little bit of black walnut in it, and there's a lot of tinctures. If you search even Canadian bitters, you'll find some. But anything that you eat, it could even be a grapefruit, anything you eat that is extremely bitter and literally makes you make a face is a good thing, because what that will do is this, again, stimulates your liver and pancreas to secrete enzymes. When you have something bitter, they secrete a ton of enzymes, and that's what you need to break down your food. This is something I will take. The black walnut's what I will take. I don't have parasites or anything anymore. I mean, maybe I do, but I did so many cleanses, I'm probably fine. So I'm not using it for parasites. I will use it if I feel like there's a little bit of bloating, if I ate too quick, I need a little bit of help with digestion. I do a few drops of this, maybe 15 to 20 drops in a little bit of water, kind of like a shot, and I'll take that, and I'm not lying, like the bloating is gone like this, and my bowel movements are great. And again, it's because you're getting your body to secrete so many enzymes, and it really helps with digestion. So like I said, these are my top three. These are three things I always have on hand: hydrochloric acid, some sort of ginger, or you can even do a lemon shot if you don't have ginger. You could do a ton of lemon, the teeny bit of water, and shoot it back, or drink through a straw if you have sensitive teeth, or you could do the same with apple cider vinegar. I personally like ginger because I think it tastes the best and it has so many benefits. So some sort of sour or digestive aid like a ginger or lemon juice, and then have some sort of bitter on hand. So you can buy tinctures of bitter herbs. So it's just called bitters in a tincture, and just do some drops at your meal time. This, I promise, will significantly help with constipation, with gas and bloating, with even diarrhea, but it's also going to help with pain. If you have stomach pain after you eat, or even on an empty stomach, this will help. It's not going to fix everything right away, but it's going to at least improve your digestion, which will improve everything else over time. And while you're on these, you do want to make sure you're draining, getting toxins out so that your liver can function properly on its own over time. And you want to be doing probiotics, but also make sure you're at some point you're clearing out the bacteria overgrowth within the stomach, small intestine, and large intestine. So you want to make sure that you're doing some sort of cleanse to clear all the bacteria like parasites, candida, fungus, mold, yeast, whatever's present there that's bad. You want to get it out, and that's what's causing a lot of your digestive issues. And once that's cleared out, your gas, bloating, everything else will be fine, especially if you flood your system with good probiotics. They will just rebalance everything out over time, and your digestion will be so good. So all of this stuff that you're experiencing, stomach pains, distension, all of that's temporary, and as you liver and kidney drain and colon drain and improve your digestion, clear candida, you will rebalance and feel amazing. And I can testify to that along with so many clients, because myself, I couldn't touch anything, nothing at all. And the last thing I want to end the video on is quickly a little note about diet. while you're on this, if you have any of the symptoms I mentioned in the beginning of the video, so distension, pains, ulcerations, anything like that, any digestive issues, you want to make sure you're avoiding really raw and rough type of foods. So the best diet to do is a diet that's in like really easy to digest foods, lots of soluble fiber, with a limit of tough meats and insoluble fiber. So the foods you want to limit would be things like red meats, because it's really hard to break down. It's really hard on your stomach. You want to limit things like, I would completely eliminate pork as well. And then you don't want to do things like celery and cucumber and apples. These are very fibrous, very hard to break down, very nutritious. But if your body is lacking in the enzymes, it cannot break these foods down, and it will cause a lot of inflammation and a lot of gas, bloating, and pain. So you want to limit those. The foods and veggies you do want to eat are soft fruits like papayas or berries or zucchini, things that are soft, but always make sure they're steamed or pureed. You could do applesauce if it's in a pureed form and warm preferably. So any soft fruits and veggies are fine. And then for other foods, you want to do things like overnight soaked basmati or jasmine rice, or avocados, something, almond butters, things like that are really soft and easy to break down, that can move through the body without a ton of strain. My very favorite meal are smoothies. I used to eat 3 smoothies a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, you know, with a spoon, because I couldn't break anything down. So you can throw what you like in the smoothies: steamed veggies, some fruit, protein powder of choice, drizzle in almond butter, throw some hemp hearts on the top, and you're good to go. But just try to avoid anything that's really tough and hard to break down, just until your digestive system's up and running. That will really limit the bloating and pain that you get. But this is what I have for this video. I really hope you guys enjoy. You guys have been begging for this, so I hope that this is helpful. Just remember that most stomach issues that you have, even GERD and hiatal hernias, all of that stuff comes from not enough stomach acid for the most part. Ulcerations even are from not enough stomach acid, because it's allowing the H. pylori bacteria to overgrow because there's no acid to kill it. So keep that in mind. It might not always be beneficial to do the acid if you have ulcers, for example. However, you do want to keep that in mind, that it's to do with an underactive stomach. So don't go taking things like Tums and I can't think of the name, the proton pump inhibitors and things like that. You don't want to be on that kind of stuff, again, unless you absolutely need to, because that's going to tell your stomach you're doing too much acid, even though it's barely producing any. And once that happens, it's going to be really hard to get your stomach to start secreting acid again. So taking things like ginger, bitters, hydrochloric acid, it's training your body to resecrete the juices it needs in proper amounts, which will help with digestion, which will therefore eliminate all your digestive issues. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it, and we'll chat in my next one. Bye.